Zoron Mandani released a rap track that praised 5 convicted Hamas funders known as the Holy Land Five.
He had a full-on committee on ending capitalism, defunding police, ending exam schools, decarceration, and embracing racial conflict.
Today,
unbelievable. This is our future now, guys. Now that a Muslim won.
8 months after launching this campaign,
Left ear only.
with the vision of a city that every New Yorker could afford.
I still want to know the chain of like custody on these videos. Like everything today records 2-channel audio. Like what are you recording on where this even happens? I'm so curious. Just kidding, actually. I know exactly what happened. Because they're recording on a real microphone. This goes to a mixer. It's single-channel audio. And they just dump the audio very crudely onto some device, not realizing this is just one channel. And then they just upload it with a video, I guess. I don't know.
We have won. We have won from Harlem to Bay Ridge. We have won from Jackson Heights to Port Richmond. We have won from Maspeth to Chinatown. We have won because New Yorkers have stood up for a city they can afford. A city where they can do more than just struggle.
The craziest thing for this is 13 hours ago, so I don't know if this includes it. This morning, he was saying that in New York, they were going to legalize rape for Jewish people? What the f***? I was like, seriously? But he said it was only for the ones living in Brooklyn. So I was like, okay, I guess, but I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
One where those who toil in the night.
Also, listen, okay? As tempting as it is sometimes, okay? It's fun to be unhinged about everybody. We looked up on stream the globalize the intifada thing. I heard this over and over again. And until I looked it up, my assumption was that he said, we need to globalize the intifada. I don't believe he ever said that. I think people were asking him about like, would you defend that statement or something? Or how do you feel about it? And then he did the bullshit pro-pally meandering thing. But I don't think it was him saying like, we need to globalize the intifada. That's what whenever time I read like headlines or when I read people saying this, that's what I was led to believe. And I don't believe that was ever the case.
Night can enjoy the fruits of their labor in the day, where hard work is repaid with a stable life. 8 hours on the factory floor or behind the wheel of a cab is enough to pay the mortgage. It is enough to keep the lights on. It is enough to send your kid to school. Where rent-stabilized apartments are actually stabilized. Where buses are fast and free.
I'm probably the most pro-pally person in the chat, but his statement on October 8th was kind of bad. Listen, okay? October 8th is like old battle.net chat logs, okay? We don't look at that. We don't think about that, okay?
Where childcare doesn't cost more than CUNY. And where public safety keeps us truly safe.
So what's your take on Zoron, right? He seems to have said a lot of cringe around 2020. American controls were retarded, but some of his more recent comments trying to appeal to neo-libs like us seems good. He supports single-stair housing reform, easier to build housing on smaller lots, expansion buildings. I mean, like, my take on this is basically going to be the same as any further left candidate. Like, MAGA has a huge problem with authoritarian rule right now. We haven't seen that with any left-leaning people. So the idea of him trying to rule like a dictator, I don't think can happen. So if there's like a crazy far left policy, I would say the same thing about him as I did about Kamala Harris. I just don't think it'll come to pass. Like I was never, ever, for a microsecond, I was never, ever worried about Kamala or Biden doing like a wealth tax because it would be a disaster. And I know it's never going to happen. Like I know that as soon as they would even float the idea, every advisor that would be like, hey, this is actually, we're be like, oh shit, okay, we'll just stop talking about that. So I doubt that like this guy is going to destroy New York with far leftist policies, you know? As far as like boosted rent control and shit, like in my opinion, all of those types of, or like the government grocery stores, in my opinion, those policies are dog shit. I think they're horrible and I think they would only make things worse. But there's 2 things that can happen, okay? So there's 3 things that can happen. One is he just doesn't get the support in the government to do it. 2 is that he does it and then he, it's a fucking miserable failure. And then you're like, okay, well, look, at least we know this shit doesn't work. Or 3, he does it and it actually ends up being somewhat successful. And then that's just more data, right? I used to think that UBI was kind of like a dog shit concept, but I feel like most of the data that's come out about UBI and places that have tried, I think most of the data is actually pretty positive. Like it doesn't fully disincentivize people from ever working and they don't ever get jobs and they just sit at home all day and smoke weed. That apparently wasn't the outcome, I think, in any of the places where they tested UBI. So, Personally, I think most of the policy stuff is further to the left of me. But I mean, hey, it's just more data or information to collect to see what happens. Worst case scenario, government wastes a little bit of money for a while. You try something, you see it doesn't work, and then you move on to the next thing. Rent control is obviously, what's your argument against the public stores thing? Just the government getting involved in setting like strict price controls is always very scary because you can kill a lot of your businesses very quickly or kill entire sectors of the economy very quickly like that. So you have to be careful. But again, it's just New York, so.
And it's where the mayor will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism.
At what point does authoritarians cross the line of which lethal resistance is justified? In the United States, never. Anything they ever said about the Second Amendment being to fight against tyranny was a fucking lie. The actual reality is it's going to probably be like if somebody's starving. Like you have to get to the point where basic needs aren't being met, which is actually a take I've had for a long time. So
will use their power to reject Donald Trump's fascism, to stop mass ICE agents from deporting our neighbors, and to govern our city as a model for the Democratic Party.
How much power does the New York mayor actually have compared to the city council? My understanding is the New York mayor is one of the most prestigious positions in the United States. I don't know if it would be unfair for me to say, I feel like the New York mayor position is more prestigious than the New York governor position and is more prestigious than most Congress positions, like even being a senator. New York mayor is a really big, that's a really big office in the United States. Yeah, the New York mayor, especially post 9/11, that's a huge office in the U.S. But maybe it'll recede post 9/11. We don't care about it as much or something. But it's a huge city. It's a very, very, very international city. Everybody in the world that comes to the United States wants to see New York City, the Big Apple. There's a lot of diplomatic stuff that happens there and everything. So it's just it's a big city, huge economy. There's a lot of history. Anyone that self-identifies as socialist, even democratic socialist, concerns me. I should. It's pretty cringe, but. Hey, listen, he won his election. I think it's foregone at this point, right? The Dems need to learn how to campaign, I think, better. What was I'm sorry, I need to stop saying this. What was Zoran's position on the Luigi killing? I don't know. And don't make me look it up because he's probably going to think it was based, even though that's like an obviously super crazy cringe thing. You think progressives will be less incentive to vote for Dems now that they've seen one of their candidates win? Yes, remember, the far left progressives and the socialist communists, no matter what, are not part of the party, okay? If Cuomo would have won, all of them would be baby raging right now and would be saying like, oh no, like I'm not going to vote or I'm going to protest vote or this, none of it matters. Since their candidate won, they're going to vote in the generals for him. You just have to phase them out. Just don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. New York City would be the 12th largest economy in the world if it were a country. That's crazy. I heard that your mom would be the 140th largest country in the world if she were a country. Because of how fat she is. Do you think the words socialist and capitalist have different meanings between Gen Z and Gen X? Kind of, but it's gotten really cringe because Gen X and above, socialist and communist were like the Soviets. It was like whatever that meant. And then like Gen X to millennial-ish, like in that time era, communist and socialist just became people who want to do things with the government. Like Obama was called a communist and socialist all the fucking time. And then I guess maybe as a result of that or other factors, Gen Z started to be like, oh, socialism is actually cool, because we want socialized healthcare. But then now a lot of the young people, at least online, want to be actually socialist. Not just the government does stuff, but like we abolish capital. So who knows? We need proportional representation and to destroy the two-party system. This constant infighting for how the party should act or is defined really feels ineffective. No, people just need to keep their eye on the prize. People need to keep their eye on the prize. And everybody needs to be on the same page for that. My guess is going to be, I haven't dug a lot into the policies of either because I'm not in New York. My guess is going to be, I would have preferred Cuomo, probably, or some like establishment Dem, because those are just the type of people I like over the Zoran guy. But if I lived in New York City, I'm showing up all day to vote for Zoran. I'm never considering ever any MAGA alternative. It's not even remotely close to that. You should be able to brutal as infight when it comes to primaries, because that's what primaries are for. But then once the primary's over, then you say, okay, fighting's over, off to the general. We kind of used to do that, right? I think Hillary campaigned for Obama. That was a very brutal primary. That was Hillary's election. It was literally, for all the coronation memes, that was it. And then Obama was a fucking nobody, a literal WHO mega lol. He came out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, Hillary lost that primary, and it was insane. Same thing with Trump. Everybody hated Trump in the Republican primary. He was making fun of people's wives and calling people retarded shit. Not retarded, but basically. And then, and they all came out, and then they endorsed, and phone bank, right? There's the videos of of Cruz phone banking for Trump afterwards as well. Adams and Cuomo may both run as independents in the general. I don't know how the New York elections turn out, but if it is the case, I don't actually even know how I feel about that. I was gonna say, if it is the case that New Yorkers vote like 90% Dem and then they want to run as an independent, that's fine. Maybe. If there's any risk that a Republican could win though, then you say absolutely not. Why the f would you even risk that? But also, I don't even know if they should, even if that. I mean, like, you had your primary. Zoran, he won. Like, I mean, this is your primary. This is what the primary is for. Zoran won the primary, and now you back the candidate, is what you should be doing, right? I'm not Jewish, but ever since October 7th happened and seeing anti-Jew behavior online and stuff like the Washington shooting, I feel like Jews have a legit reason to be afraid. Do you think Zoran would enable more extremists on the far left? I want to support him, but I'm a little hesitant. I don't know if he would enable them. I doubt he's going to do much to curb them, though. I think if you're a Jew, I think anti-Semitism should be a pretty spooky thing right now for you. The George Floyd thing had the entire country, protesting and rioting for months, and like we're having like Jewish people assassinated now in the United States by clearly anti-Semitic and now pro-Palestinian driven people, and actually nobody gives a fuck. Nobody cares at all. So it's kind of a spooky world to be in, I think. And you have a lot of anti-Semitism now on the left, and the right has a good foundation for anti-Semitism. In the far right, although the main party doesn't do the anti-Semitic stuff as much yet, but Destiny, they have ranked choice voting. Oh yeah, someone on the subreddit got mad because I mentioned that I knew friends in Canada who did who talked about strategic voting for ranked choice voting, and they were like, Canada doesn't have ranked choice voting. Blah, blah, blah. I think Canada, they must have for something, because I had Canadian friends talking about it. I think Canada had ranked choice voting just for after Trudeau stepped down or something. I think they had it for like one thing. Oh, well, Destiny trying so hard to stay middle on this one. How long could you have ever watched my stream where you would think I would try to stay in the middle on literally anything? I don't know why you would ever think that. Yes. Sometimes I wake up and I think, how can I make the broadest...
There's a lot of things that make New York City special.
The broadest amount of people happy. Also not sure if you saw, but the Bronx really did not support Zoran. Do you think Adams has a shot to beat him in the election, or is he cooked? I don't know. Not sure, actually. I don't know what the racial breakdown is of New York for who supports who or whatever. But I'm pretty sure Zoran was carried primarily by like wealthy white college and wealthy white suburb voters. But I mean, not suburb. I shouldn't say suburb. But that's what I saw posted online, unless that was a meme. But that's also not surprising. Remember, like the socialist views and all that. As much as people try to say like Malcolm X was a socialist and black people actually love socialism, it's a very white college kid flavored thing. Not to say whether it's good or bad. Even that sounds bad. But Zoran did better with men and Cuomo with women for some reason. I don't know if we went over this stream or not. I don't want to speak out on the Cuomo stuff because I haven't researched it too much. But from what I read of the Cuomo stuff, the quote-unquote 12, 15 sexual harassment things or whatever, it kind of seemed a little memey. Maybe there was really bad stuff in there that I just didn't see, but it seemed kind of like old person harassment, like called, like was saying like a girl was hot or commented on her breast or whatever while he was in office. And a lot of these like were over the past like 20 years or something. Not to say that it's acceptable or good, or obviously you shouldn't do that, but it felt like when I first read about all that stuff, my assumption for a long time was that he like and was like touching on, like 10 or 15 different women, was like trying to finger fuck them or something. But it kind of seemed a little memey. But maybe some of them in there, like I'm being serious. I haven't looked into these, so maybe some of them were really bad. I'm not sure. At Destiny, as someone who is no longer Muslim but comes from a Muslim family, I appreciate the tweet you made defending Zoran from Charlie Kirk. While I dislike the tenets of Islam and it should be criticized, I feel, at least on Twitter, a lot of hate is directed towards Muslims and not Islam. I don't know if my tweet is necessarily defending Zoran. It's more Charlie Kirk has no place to ever criticize anybody for some religious. And I think that attacking people based on their religion in the United States is one of the most anti-American things I think a person can do. So Charlie Kirk and him and the weird theocratic Christianity extremist bullshit that a lot of these guys push as well. I think Hassan was expecting the all of the profile pieces that he did to launch him into some kind of, like, to get him more access, I think, to mainstream political people. So it's been funny, or mainstream people in general. It's been funny on Twitter. He's like begging to join like everything. You see him with the musicians or the celebrities or everything else. And now he wants to join this. If someone wants to actually serve NY-15 and the people in it, instead of the apartheid state of Israel, I will be there to help you win. I will knock on doors with you. Let me know. At Dem Socialists. He's such a cringe to do this after Zoran wins the primary. Like, he's such a fucking scum opportunist. Ugh. But why is that anti-American? We've been fighting other people about religion since before the Declaration of Independence. Because America is supposed to be a country where you of all creeds and all religions and all backgrounds are allowed to be here and do and worship whatever cringe god they want.
Regurgitate it. They're like, oh, yes, the rent freeze. What? It's like, bro, you don't have a house. Like, what do you mean a rent freeze terrifies you? Are you a landlord? No. What are you talking about? Did you know that rent freezes were done in the past by other fucking mayors in New York? No, you don't know anything. You just fucking heard someone on TV say this is terrifying and it will cause a capital flight, and you're just regurgitating that because you're a fucking baboon, okay?
Okay. Somebody linked ads that this guy did.
There's a lot of things that make New York City special. For me, it's the delis and bodegas. Habibi, could I get an egg and cheese on a roll with jalapeno?
One Zoron special coming up.
Small businesses employ nearly half of all New Yorkers in the private sector. They keep the city running, but the last 4 years have been hard. We've seen the dollar slice go extinct, storefront after storefront close, and had a mayor in Eric Adams who has ignored the struggles of small businesses. That's why as mayor, I'm gonna make it faster, easier, and cheaper for small businesses to get started and stay open. First, we're gonna cut fines and fees for small businesses by 50%. Regulations are important, but small businesses have to navigate more than 6,000 of them, with far fewer resources than the big chains. That's why as mayor, I'll appoint a mom and pop czar with the clear goal of making it easier to run a small business. $1,000 isn't a lot to our city government, but it can be make or break for a small business trying to
Opinion on him buttoning his top button without a tie? True.
get off the ground. Next, we're going to accelerate permits and applications. The mom and pop czar will coordinate with agencies to speed up turnaround times, cut red tape, and let New Yorkers start businesses sooner. Because you shouldn't have to fill out 24 forms and go through 7 agencies to start a barbershop. But most of all, we're putting our money where our mouth is by increasing funding for small business support programs with 500%. We're going to invest $20 million in our Business Express service teams, which pair small businesses with a city case manager that helps them navigate permits and regulations, as well as connecting them with programs that provide them with financial and legal assistance. Right now, only 3% of businesses are using these programs. We want that number to skyrocket. The only thing more New York than an egg and cheese are the small businesses that make them. Together, we can not only protect them, but encourage new ones to make a home in our city.
I feel like one thing this guy does well is he seems like an ordinary, normal person who's not like trying really hard to be like a fellow kids. Some people try, I think, way too hard. And then other people are, I feel like right now we're kind of in a moment where people are just like looking to like kind of normal people. This is the vibe I get from him.
I'm going to make.
And part of that one thing that we watched, I also felt that way. The part of the debate. Admittedly, I haven't consumed a lot of stuff from this guy though, but.
Take it in. The true icon of New York. The Staten Island Ferry. The Staten Island Ferry is a beacon on the waters of New York City.
Like I get big, watching these ads, I get big, like high school student council president video from a top of the class kid who's trying hard to make a cute video for, so it's done with a team that thought about doing it, but like the music and everything is like kind of cute or whatever, you know, I don't know if that makes sense.
Take it in. The true icon of
It's like Parks and Rec, a little bit, yeah, that
New
vibe,
York.
yeah.
The Staten Island Ferry. The Staten Island Ferry is a beacon on the waters of New York City, shuttling about 45,000 people a day. And the best part? It's free. For decades after opening in 1898, the Staten Island Ferry was just a nickel. Then, in the 1970s, the fare rose to a quarter. And in 1990, 50 cents. But since 1997, the ferry's been free. And New Yorkers have come to know it as a dependable means of transit. And it's the best way to see the Statue of Liberty. So when people say buses can never be free, don't ask them to take a hike. Ask them to take the ferry. On June 24th, let's get some more free transit.
What is this rap video?
Make you a countryside
6 years ago.
curry.
My name is Praveen. Hello, everyone.
Pound and a half of chicken. Stir and fry it again.
Mom!
You're living in our house now, Mom. We're not living in yours. Why do I have to keep telling you this? And then on Wednesday, you forget to pick up Nikhil from school. All of your meddling, these questions, and the TV serials, it cause you to lose sight of the fact that you are not a good nanny.
The best damn nanny that you ever done seen. Top 5 nannies and top 3. I'm the number 1 nanny. Don't f with me. Any of the nannies says they better than Praveen. Cause I'm 85 years old, 85 years old.
Okay. What was this? This is October 8th post. My statement in the last 36 hours across Israel and Palestine. I'm more than the hundreds of people killed across Israel and Palestine in the last 36 hours. Netanyahu's declaration of war and the Israeli government's decision to cut electricity to Gaza and Knesset members calling for another Nakba will undoubtedly lead to more violence and suffering the days and weeks to come. The path towards a just and lasting peace can only begin by ending the occupation and dismantling apartheid. Sure, it's kind of cringe. Could be worse, though. Could be a lot worse. It's a little cringe, but it could be a lot worse. All right. It's not being appreciated just how radical Zoran's expressed views were just a short time ago and how little he's addressed them. He had a full-on committee on ending capitalism, defunding police, ending exam schools, decarceration, and embracing racial conflict. How old is this? From 2020? Is he young? He looks like he's like 30. 33, okay, yeah. One thing that I don't believe is true, I've never seen this work successfully, is people who pretend that candidates can like run on like stealth views and that they'll all come out after they take office. If somebody's running on one set of views and you're accusing them of secretly harboring another set of views, if they were to try to exercise the secret set of views once they're in office, they would lose all their popular support and no one would support them anymore. So this is what he said 5 years ago and this is what he's about, you know. I don't ever buy that. It's a thread mostly of tweets, mostly a few years old. Zoron surely has changed in some ways with the political moment, but I want you to think about the kind of person who says these things. Are they contemplative? Are they collaborative? Are they prone to conflict? What was his role before winning the primary? Or what was his job? He was in the New York State Assembly. Okay. He supported the 2020 uprising, sharing a post dismissing concerns about property damage from riots. Politicians and pundits condemned the uprising in Minneapolis from TV studios as well. Those at the center of it, even those who are hurting, understand why it's happening and why it has to happen. Okay, I don't care about this. This is cringe. Why does he tilt his head? Does he have a problem? What do you mean? Does every single girl who posts on Instagram have a problem? In an unearthed rap song. I always like when people say like unearthed, like, was this something that was super ultra buried or did they just like find this on an open YouTube channel? In an unearthed rap song, New York City mayoral candidate Zoron Mandani praised 5 convicted terror funders. The 5 funneled $12 million to Hamas. Mandani sends his love to them. Track released in 2017 also called to tear down the U.S. border wall. He would have been 25 when he released this video. Wow.
In 2017, Zoron Mandani released a rap track that praised 5 convicted Hamas funders known as the Holy Land 5. Now he wants to run New York? Mamdani says, look him up. So we did.
Wow.
These 5 men were convicted of funneling over $12 million to Hamas, U.S. designated terrorist organization responsible for the murder, rape, and kidnapping of civilians, including Americans.
Damn.
Mamdani sent his
I like how you have to have that in there to make Americans give a
for the murder, rape, and kidnapping of civilians.
Hold on, wait, don't let me lose you yet. Not just any civilians,
including Americans.
American ones.
Mamdani sent his love to convicted Hamas funders. Let that sink in. Mamdani says, no wall will make it fall. That's an open door for criminals and chaos. Zoron Mandani stands with convicted terrorist funders and wants open borders. This is New York City, not a sanctuary for terrorists. Zoron Mandani, unfit, un-American, unthinkable.
Campus hate is out of control. We expose those who promote anti-Semitism, glorify terror, or fuel extremism because the world deserves to know. Jesus. This will surely garner national support for democratic socialism and in no way detract from addressing material suffering. Ladies and gentlemen, the new mayor of New York City. And yes, that is a 9/11 was an inside job t-shirt. Is it? This is not a 9/11 inside job shirt. It is literally a shirt titled Internet, Welcome to the Web of Misinformation. That faux browser window is a reference to misinformation spread about 9/11. Oh, nice. So the guy literally did the thing the shirt is accusing him of. Internet paradise. Welcome to the World Wide Web of Disinformation. Jet fuel melt still beams. The funny thing is I wonder if Hassan is wearing it ironically, which is like a double, triple meta. Oh, we get that prison drip.
Hey, didn't see you there. Congrats, though, to Zoron Mandani. It's not over yet, but it's looking like he won the mayoral race in New York City. We were all over every borough today, seeing people super excited to go out and vote. I supported him because he's the only non-Zionist candidate on that stage. I thought you needed to be bought and sold, but people are energetic. People are tired of the Zionism, and I'm excited to see what he's got. I'm not a socialist myself. I don't want everyone to be a communist getting free stuff, but I think he has some cool ideas. Hopefully he can do the best, man, and wish you the best of luck. If you do win, New York is with you, and we want you to do well, man.
Based? Not really, but Sneako's kind of, but that's okay. How prolific was this guy's rap career? What the fuck? 9 years ago. His mom is a really big filmmaker. What is the split between Republicans and Democrats in New York City? Oof. I actually wonder if Cuomo would win if he ran as an independent, because I imagine there are going to be votes that he can sweep up from the Democratic side. And I know Republicans and Muslim New York City mayor, that's like a hellscape nightmare to them. I wonder if Republicans would vote for Cuomo. I have no idea, though. I don't know what the electoral landscape looks like, though. To support your point, here's a timestamp from the mayor debate.
Homes or the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
What the? I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not as a Jewish state?
As a state with equal rights.
He won't not say it as just Jewish.
Oh, yeah. We might have already watched this. It is funny how much they obsess over the Israel shit in the New York City mayor debate. This is how they voted. I think the craziest question was like, how quickly until you visit Israel once you're elected New York City mayor? And it's like, why the f does the mayor go to Israel? What the fuck? So Adams won the election. Eric Adams 66.9%. Oh yeah, okay. Damn, that could be. Oh, plus Adams too, though, right? Has Adams is running, of course. Oh, never mind. No, wait, there's no way that Cuomo would win because him and Adams are going to be splitting against each other, right? One of them would have to make the decision to not run. Adams would either have to withdraw or Cuomo would have to endorse Adams. I don't know. I don't even know if that's like in the cards for either of these people. He wouldn't even run. This was embarrassing enough for him. Oh, I thought people were saying he already declared that he was running as an independent. So unhinged Vosch response to a well-informed anti-Zoron DGG-like voter. What? You read that Adams was 100% running, not Cuomo. Oh, sorry. Oh, my bad.
Yeah. Victoria. Victoria, nice to meet you. And are you from Queens?
Yes, I am.
How long have you lived here?
My entire life.
Okay, great. In Jackson Heights?
In Elmhurst, then Forest Hills, then Jackson Heights. So this area, Western Queens.
So what are your thoughts on the election so far?
I don't like the way it is shaken out at all.
Oh no.
Worried.
Oh no.
Basically, I supported Zoron Mandani, who was my first choice from the beginning, who I think was absolutely wonderful. And unfortunately, because of the way things are falling, I've had to vote for someone I really, really don't like, but who may save us from someone I really think is wrong for the city.
Would you be?
We all know what she's saying here, right? No supporter of Mandani talks this way. This is also a thing I've noticed with, I guess you could say like liberals or conservatives or whatever, but anyone who isn't leftists, nobody on the left ever sounds ashamed of their vote, ever. Nobody has ever talked this way, voting for Bernie, AOC, Mandani, anything like that, you know? Yeah, they know they should be ashamed.
Are you comfortable?
Yeah, but they also always vote for people who are losing. But like, of course they're not ashamed of their vote because they're voting literally on social credit and vibes and whatever makes them feel the happiest rather than actually winning election is what, okay.
Elaborating on that? Or?
Yes, my second choice vote was for Andrew Cuomo, who I loathe, but I think Zoron Mandani is a complete insult to our intelligence and dangerous and horrible.
Okay.
In what ways do you think that he's dangerous or what parts do you disagree with?
Ideas are, while they sound attractive, and I think he is a wonderful, wonderful speaker, I honestly do. A lot of them are things that would have to go through the state legislature. A lot of them are things that...
I didn't want to profile immediately, but she does have evil eyes. So I feel like that was my thought immediately, but then I thought, come on, phrenology isn't real, but it is. She does have evil eyes, so you could have gone off that like from the beginning.
Just don't make any economic sense. $30 minimum wage sounds great, but there are a lot of small businesses. You can't go up that quickly, that steeply. Freezing rent, I am a renter. But, you know, I concede that there are things that the Rent Guidelines Board has to take into consideration. So I just don't think they're thought through. And I've gotten to think it's like a left-wing version of Trump. It's just break.
This is making me think that she's just a bigot because.
Why? It's so boring and tired. The Hassan, the Taylor Lorenz, I guess Vosch does it too still. Disappointing. Where like everybody that disagrees with me is a racist, is bigoted, is on the Trump side, I guess it's they're a communist or they have TDS, or it's like a race to label your opponent as something and to never, ever, ever. Like, it's actually crazy too, because my guess is going to be this woman is way more politically plugged in than an ordinary citizen. I don't know how they're finding this, but like she's giving surprisingly nuanced answers for a person on the street, right? Like, oh, I'm a renter. I don't know about rent control. Some stuff would have to go through the state legislature. The rent control boards have their rationales where they do 30. Like, she's actually giving decently politically informed answers, way more than I would expect from a random fucking citizen. But
just don't think they're thought through. And I've gotten to think.
I'm sorry. Does she have the Jew archetype? Is this a Jewish person? I can't tell. I'm stuck. My Judar is broken.
It's like a left-wing version of Trump. It's just break.
This is making me think that she's just a bigot. Because I feel like if her problems were with Mamdani's policies, she would have spoken more severely about the rent freeze. If
she literally brought up 2 policies and issues relating to them. What? She literally brought up the $30 an hour thing. And I think that's where she mentioned the state legislature thing would have to be brought in from. And then she literally brought up the rent control thing and said that the rent control boards, and she said even as a renter, what are you talking about?
If it's not that, then why the fuck are you talking about him so severely? That makes me think like there's something else. When you say he's not a good fit for New York, do you think he'd be a good fit for your neighborhood?
How many things does she have to bring up in 10 seconds in order to not be a bigot? What the fuck?
break things for just for the sake of breaking things. And I really find that scary.
So you're kind of mentioning that you feel like you're in a tough situation. You're actually the first voter I've spoken to who had a first choice who was Myri. Which is kind of
wonderful. I think his housing plan is just really creative and really what we need. I mean, he wants to go in with 100,000 units of housing. I mean, I think it's just wonderful. And, I think he's been lost in the shuffle. He is young, but, I think he would have been a great mayor.
You think she lied about the renter thing? Oh, when she was like, I'm a renter, in her head, she's like, well, I rent stuff out. I rent,
I mean, obviously, he's not going to go anywhere, but...
What are your top issues as a New Yorker?
Cost of living, healthcare, housing.
Yeah, this makes me wonder if it's just a raw bigotry thing. Because again, the vitriol with which she answered, when otherwise it seems like...
Vitriol? When she's like, I really don't like this other kid. Okay, I mean, I guess, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
I would say.
So in terms of housing, would you like to see more housing being built? What are some changes that you would like to see?
I don't like the city of Yes. I don't think it's sensitive to neighborhoods like this one where historic preservation is.
The city of Yes? Is that what she said? Is that a reference?
I don't like the city of Yes. I don't
know what that means.
It's sensitive to neighborhoods like this one where historic preservation is so important and so much a part of the fabric of the neighborhood.
Maybe.
I think it was Brad Lander's idea to go to city-owned lots, or maybe it was Scott Stringer, I can't remember, but a lot of vacant city-owned land.
And she pays a lot of attention too. She knows multiple candidates and multiple positions from those candidates.
I like how, but I like how you just said that she wasn't giving policy positions, was just a bigot. Can you explain pros and cons to rent freeze policies? Rent freeze is considered bad because it causes people to consume inappropriate levels of housing rather than to sort themselves out in a more financially reasonable way. It encourages overconsumption. If you are in a certain property and you have a rent frozen property, you're highly incentivized to stay there and not move, when moving might be better for a variety of reasons. Otherwise, it disincentivizes renovation or units sometimes being created in the city if people know that, or purchases of units, whatever. People won't buy stuff or invest in stuff if they know there's not going to be able to recover any rents on it. And it makes it harder for people outside the city to ever afford or be able to move into the city because the number of unrent controlled units are oftentimes much more strictly controlled, or there's a smaller supply, I should say. So the prices on those tend to be even higher because there's more people competing over lesser stuff. The pros on the rent control side is that if you have a rent controlled unit, then you obviously, there's a huge surplus of value there for you because you are able to own and consume something at a much higher, that has a much higher value than what you're paying for it, basically.
And start building there. The idea about building market rate housing in the extra areas around housing projects, I think is pretty good. So, I mean, we do need more housing, but I think it has to be done sensitively. I really do. And I really like the plan. And this I know is Landers, borrowed from other places where you, on the homeless mentally ill, you get them homes first.
You are an interesting one. You're an interesting one. All right. Okay.
I like how leftists literally cannot compute that maybe somebody does want the same end as you. They just don't think your policies are good. Remember what I said before, leftists, a lot of people do this, where they plug in the outcome to their policy. And if you're opposed to the policy, it must mean you're opposed to the outcome. They can't compute it at all. It's incomprehensible to them. The city of Yes was a legislative proposal in city council to make it so that more commercial lots can be rezoned for residents and vice versa, and increased regular capacity for housing / legalized some basement tenants, etc. Okay.
I appreciate a little mix up. I'm running out of things to check on the list that aren't it's a race thing. It's very strange.
And get them off the street. And I think that's great. I really do. And yes, I am also concerned about crime. So would be another one. And the mentally ill go into that.
So would you be ranking Lander also?
Yeah, she mentions crime, but she also said she supports housing first homelessness policy, which is that's not a conservative policy at all. That's
what part of her is conservative? Isn't everybody she's talking about part of the Democratic primary? What?
Housing first homelessness policy, which is that's not a conservative policy at all. That's the opposite.
Well, originally I was going to have Cuomo fifth, and I was going to have Lander in there. I was going to have Jessica Ramos in there. She's a state senator from here. I was going to have Michael Blake there because I worked with him on the Obama campaign, and I think he's great.
Worked with? Oh shit! Now we know why she's so knowledgeable. She's an insider. Okay, this isn't median voter shit at all. This might not be Islamophobia.
This isn't a median voter. This woman is like I said before, I would be shocked for somebody to give me two coherent policies and then the arguments for and against them for any candidate. This is obviously above average informed voter. It would make sense if she had a job in politics or she just followed it closely as a hobby. Yeah.
Knowledgeable. She's an insider. Okay, this isn't median voter shit at all. This might not be Islamophobia. This might be an intellectually informed opposition to democratic socialism. Okay, wait, we're revealing more layers here.
Well, I mean, everything she said so far has seemed, whether you agree or disagree, at least she seems to know what she's talking about. But
this might actually be like, guys, this is like an actual op. This isn't like an unthinking stooge of another ideology. This person might actually be like an ideological opponent. That's crazy.
And then I was going to have Cuomo fifth, but because of everything that's happening, I knew they didn't have a shot, so I had to push Cuomo up.
Are you surprised kind of by the momentum that Zoron Mandani has picked up?
What's the leading solution idea for low-income workers who need to work in the area? Do lower-income people just have to accept a commute? How does the barista or maintenance worker live close to the big business in the area? I don't know. I'm not sure how. I don't know how does Tokyo do it. Maybe you just say fuck to all of the price controls, and then ideally those businesses are forced to pay those workers a little bit more if you work in those places so you can live closer. I'm not sure.
Are you, because it seems like, he's really kind of hit the pavement and garnered a lot of...
Yeah, okay, I'm very invested in this. I'm very, very, very invested in this.
I don't know like how accurate,
I feel like it's like a street interviewer who's going around New York City asking people how they feel about the fact that we bombed Iran. And some guy's like, well, I don't think it's good that Trump did it, but like there's some legitimacy to that. And you talk to him for a few minutes more and he's like, well, back when I worked in the State Department under Biden, and you're like, hold on. Wait, I'm set. Please give me all of your state secrets. I would like to inform my ideology.
And can reflect that. Do you think like maybe a few weeks ago your ranked choice voting would have been different maybe if you're not trying to like...
I might have had Cuomo in fifth. Yeah, definitely.
I love this channel, by the way. I gotta say, I feel, I don't want to content seal, but it's also literally the day of the election, so...
No POC I've interacted with in the real world, not looking for attention on the internet, would say this woman is racist. Vosch talks like Kevin Spacey from the House of Cards when he's near a black person. He's an idiot. Jesus.
Like...
I think the DSA, and a lot of people criticize them, they are amazing in terms of getting out there.
What the fuck? Oh my God, it's just curveball after curveball with this woman.
I mean...
They are amazing in terms of getting out there. I think the DSA, and a lot of people criticize them, they are amazing in terms of getting out there.
What the fuck? Oh my God, it's just curveball after curveball with this woman.
When she says getting out there, I wonder if she means like they're really good at, maybe in New York City, at like organizing and getting their message out. Is Vosch only capable of like seeing people as stereotypes, or...
Is she watching the stream right now? Is she like a deep agent? It has to be Israel. But if it was Israel, why wouldn't she have said something by now? It's not, it's New York. It's not like saying Israel is why you voted. It's that taboo here.
They really support their candidates. They go door to door. They are on the streets all the time. And I think they really work for it. I just think,
Anyway, as I was saying, we are primed for anti-Semitism, or like anti-Semitic like violence to become widespread. A little on the extreme right, but in a lot of these like further left-leaning spaces. Rip. Good luck.
I love AOC, but I think Mandani is a real mistake by them. I really do.
What kind of canvassing have you seen in your neighborhood? I'm curious, like what kind of advertisements do you feel like have been
door knocking, basically? Yeah.
From all different candidates, or?
Do you really think Vosch is anti-Semitic? Do I think Vosch is anti-Semitic? No, but the problem is like the leftist position has become indistinguishable from anti-Semitism. You can't really distinguish it. You just can't, actually. You just can't. I don't know what to say. Anyway, sorry.
Mostly Mandani.
The far left, the far left, like the socialists and commies and basically anybody obsessed with the Israel-Palestine thing. Yeah.
Really, really been out there. And, I've also gotten direct mail from just about everybody. But, my knowledge is from reading the papers, watching the debates, and getting a sense of them that way. But again, I have to hand it to the DSA because they really, really get out there.
This is the...
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's what she was saying, is that they're good at getting their message out.
Anti-median voter. This is incredible. The median voter has strong, uninformed opinions that are incoherent. This woman is clearly smart, has coherent opinions, but we have no idea how they all line up to form a greater ideology. It's like inconsistency, but in another way. This is very fascinating. It's very interesting. She knows it too. The interviewer's like, I'll be here all day. I don't give a shit. I'll do the whole video on this one lady. I don't give a...
Like, Vosch just talked to you a lot. Does he literally not have a theory of mind for you? It's hard to say. I don't know. It maybe the answer is as simple as like audience capture. Like you just have an audience that want to hear a thing and then you just get used to doing that all the time. I'm not sure.
So, and I think that, and he is the best speaker of the group, but that's cosmetic. It's not substance. So I think it would be a very dark day for the city if he won.
Is there anything you want to add?
Excuse me?
Is there anything else you want to add?
Yes, Mark Levine is the only choice for controller in Jumaane Williams' Republican.
You're following the controller race? What? I know. I need to know more. I need to know more about this woman.
Okay, love you.
Yeah, nice to talk to you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you. So what do you think about...
To any New York City Voschites, okay? If you see this woman, steer the clear, okay? She's got connection. She's capable of... You couldn't even imagine, okay?
Okay. This is the income breakdown for how people voted. I don't know what I'm supposed to Is it just median incomes? This doesn't show any vote stuff? Or best voter data map? Okay. The whites came out. The whites and the riches came out.